And hello there, this is DrIzixs with another episode of Minecraft on the Banana Viking Server. And I almost gave away everything already. Because you see, I built up the house. Yes, I built up the house. I got my little mushroom dealio in here. I got some oven, a workbench. I got some storage. It's kind of organized now. It's good stuff I've been doing, collecting up cool stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome, guys. Also goes up. Up, and away. And I got another level up here. Now, what am I going to do with this level? It's not a secret, guys. I should probably tell you then. You see that mushroom over there? I'm going to build a bridge over to it. I might do that today, but we got to finish up something first. Something important. I don't need you right now. I don't need you. In fact, I don't need any of that sort of stuff. I need this sort of thing here. Maybe some of these. And might need some of this. Just in case. Because we got a build to finish up over there. Yes. How many extra ladders? Always a question. There we go. I'm just going to get some ladders. I know I can make some scaffolding, and I do have my own bamboo products coming up now, but I would need string, and I don't got any yet, so hooray. Anywho, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I've had kind of a sort of weekend. Not because anything horrible happened. I've just been feeling, well, not quite myself. It kind of sucks. So I'm just feeling, constantly, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, my friends. But on the good side, we got lots of sugar cane that tasted good. Cinnamon, that's what you would. Come on. REM. I like it. Anyway. So, my moodiness aside, this does appear to be working as intended. Little delays, perhaps, but, you know, just as long as you don't fall into it and all that, guys, that'll be a good thing. The problem is, it ain't got no roof. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and toss some torches in here to make sure all of that's good, so it has plenty of light for which to... Actually, no, not you. Not there. Never there. Nice thing about dropping things in the water. Not sure why that popped off there. So it all ends up down in the trap down below, and that's good. Alright, so now I should be confident in building a roof on this thing. So what kind of roof am I going to go for? I'm going to go for a roof that continues this sort of theme of bones. Yes, that means I might need another axe here before too long. At least this high. Let's go ahead and strip this off. Go. And I might as well give another bit of this sort of action here. Like that, like that, like that, and so on and so forth. Very similar to what it was before. I need to be careful that I'm not going to find myself messing up a corner or something like that. Or some sort of redstone here. I should probably make sure I do this. Oh! I'm falling. Anywho, to try to cheer myself up, I've ended up watching Farscape this previous day here. Overall, I have to say it was pretty good. Now here's the tricky bit here. Is this going to cut off the redstone? I think it does. Or maybe it doesn't. Because it is the whole weird... not a full block sort of thing. So I guess there is one important thing I could do here. That is to go back down here. Farscape. I rather enjoyed it overall. You know, as there any show, there are plenty of episodes there like, what? But there's enough good stuff there to keep me compelled to go through the entire series, including the Peacekeeper Wars, which is the movie that brings it to a conclusion right now. just to make sure. There we go. All right, still works. Good. Peacekeeper Wars. It's a movie, film, sort of TV adventure with the Hallmark Channel or something. And the Jim Henson Studio Workshop program. There we go. I'm hitting all sorts of weird stuff today. For some reason, sometimes my right click doesn't work, and I'm not sure why. Could be my mouse is dying, or it could be my computer's haunted. Yeah. I'd recommend the show. It's a show about this guy named John Crichton, who's an astronaut who gets sucked through a wormhole and ends up at the far edge of the galaxy. And I'm basically kind of just reading the opening crawl of each episode. And he meets a bunch of weird aliens. Some people start chasing him. Sometimes the good reasons, sometimes the bad reasons. And the overall arc for him is that he wants to get home, and he can do that by learning about how to operate wormholes. Like it's an unknown sort of thing that exists. So how do you control them? Can you control them? Is there some way to turn them into weapons? Yeah, the short answer is yes. Yeah, there is. And the last, the movie there to sort of try to tie up the remaining plot threads, including the fact that a couple of the characters were straight up dead at the end of the actual series. Don't worry, they get better. It's, sci-fi comic book logic sort of things. Anyway, it was the final plot. Okay, so, all right, so what happens if someone actually does use a wormhole weapon? Dun dun dun. It's pretty bad, actually. It's just the worst. Don't do that. So that gives me an excuse to perhaps talk about wormholes in a scientific sort of context as I build things here randomly. So wormholes, they're a little quirk of science of general relativity that you bend space and time in just the proper sort of correct wacky way that you should be able to bring two places that are very far apart very close together. And that's kind of the general version everybody is kind of familiar with as far as how these sorts of things works. The trouble is, at least from my point of view, is that it requires that your space-time be of a certain sort. Namely, that space-time works like that at all. That you can, in fact, bend space-time sufficiently in order to pull this off. So how would you do this? There's been suggestions of wacky exotic types of matter, which may or may not exist. I suspect they probably don't. Or just weird manipulation of like black holes or something like that. It's been a while since I've read literature on this sort of stuff, so I'm kind of trying to half remember stuff. So don't mind me if I'm getting something horribly wrong and somebody's a little more up to date on the specifics there. But long story short, a lot of these schemes are a bit on the kind of absurdly impossible to do as far as our current technology, perhaps any level technology going forward into the far future. Which is a little disheartening if you're trying to use this as your main way of pulling this sort of, interstellar travel sort of scheme off. Okay, just one more bit here. It also has some issues with something I've sort of personally been thinking about for a long time as far as cosmology and how it may work. That in a certain limit, space is generally locally flat. This may require local flatness on the scale of, say, an atom, or even smaller. But generally, most places, it tends to that sort of thing. In a lot of places, it's much flatter than, even requiring atom sort of size. You might feel the Earth's gravitational pull, but in large scale of things, this is kind of nothing. as far as bending space-time. To make a wormhole requires such an extreme pulling of things that you get to a point where it kind of calls into question that local flatness sort of situation, even if it is highly localized. Sleepy time. Talking physics for once in Minecraft. And so you could have, and so you get this sort of situation where, if you can sort of violate that to a certain past a certain point, where you basically put one bit of space through another point of space in order to pull off your wizardry here, you are in effect requiring a pinch point at some point, because you got trying to make a hole here, and you can do quote singularities with black holes to sort of get around some of the weirdness here. But even then, we can't directly observe singularities. It's sort of one of those, if you're there, you're unable to observe it because you're very dead sort of situations. And so kind of gets into that moot point sort of stuff. Yeah. So yes, I could see the singularity now. Actually, I can't because I'm very dead. Whoops. And so it kind of comes, calls the question, the whole quantum universe view of what is an observation, that sort of thing. If you are unable to interact with a quantum singularity in any sort of meaningful fashion, then what good is it to, quote, see and interact with it? Now you can, interact with the event horizon, sort of the extended portions of a black hole and all that sort of junk. But there's, to go deeper to fully know the nature of it internally requires a bit more of that assumption stuff, and is much trickier in the actual do it sort of stuff. So I guess, long story short, I suspect a lot of the assumptions that go into, we could just do this to make a wormhole, or similarly, wacky alternative cosmology sort of space-time structure, it requires a lot of assumptions that might not be viable. So the local flatness one being kind of a low-level one that I can sort of point to and like, doesn't quite smell right with this sort of thing being true. If that thing is not true, then that's a whole other ballgame. But you need to sort of show me that that's not true. So get me that exposed singularity so I can actually know for certain that such a pinch point actually can exist in a meaningful fashion somewhere in the universe. In other words, I'm saying Pixar don't happen. I can see the entirety of the house from here. All right, so we've gotten this part forward. Now, there is the question of how do I want to sort of cap off these sort of femurs sticking out of the ground here. Now that I'm pausing and been talking about the science here, as far as the top of the roof here, I think I'll probably just do stairs and a sort of pyramidal structure sort of going up. I think something that kind of maybe pokes out a bit. Yeah, baby. We're not going to need this one specifically here, because we got personality. Or do we? Well, I think I have a personality. Anyway, so I guess for that hatch, okay, I was okay. So yeah, and so without the, I definitely messed this up, didn't I? I definitely messed this up. Let's go ahead and pull that off here. Put that there. That there. I'm going to need to repair my axe soon. And I don't want to have this pop it out to the side like that up here. I think I might want like that. And when I strip all the bark off this in a moment, this will make it look all the better. So, $64,000 question. So that looks officially like the top of a bone. It's getting there. It's getting there. A little bit more up, though, I think. So I think just a little... Oh, I need more logs. All right. Probably going to have to go cut down more trees, too, in the long run here. Where was I with the black holes and things like that? So, without being able to see naked singularity, it does sort of call into question... It's okay, the math works past, up to this point, and we understand how, everything up until event horizons, and we have some theoretical models to predict what happens within it. And even so, those theoretical models are reliant on our understanding of physics, even applying past a certain point, and without a means to probe it, it can go, you can sort of have some questions. But with a wormhole, you could potentially drop a wormhole into a black hole and then be able to, observe that singularity business in some more meaningful fashion, which could cause all sorts of problems. So it does kind of beg the question, where's my axe? I'm just going to make a new axe. I know I'm doing lots of running back and forth here suddenly, don't mind me. I've been kind of rambling about black holes for a while. I should probably stop. Anyway. One of the things that's kind of trying to wrap it back to, so I guess one of the things that I sort of suspect about the universe as far as general relativity is concerned is that there is certain sort of aspects of it that's almost like you can make good approximations of what will work mathematically by just assuming space-time is flat almost everywhere. And the only weird exceptions are when you do have things like black holes or extreme mass stars, that sort of thing. There we go. And in those cases, you have to go full general relativity. People are beeping. But you can sort of do not a Taylor expansion, but something sort of similar to that mathematically for extrapolating the deviations from flat space-time due to more normal sorts of matter being in place. And you can get pretty accurate to, we actually observe this sort of predictions using that. Yeah, and you basing this all off the sort of the, what would you call it, I'm trying to remember the thing here. It's been years since I've thought about this stuff. What am I trying to... Sorry. Path variance. There we go. Sort of view of... space-time. Yet an object that is moving through space. It has a certain action to it, and it generates a certain curvature to the space-time around it. And you can sort of, from there, that object doesn't necessarily have to be something made out of matter. It could be something made out of, a bit of energy or whatever. That's what general relativity is all about. It's about mass energy density. And that kind of works. I think I might have to change up so it seems a little bit more varied as far as side bits here. I might have to toss in something like so. Truly get it going. So short version of that is you got something going through your space-time, whatever, and you're trying to like get the sort of energy relations, things like that, and you don't want to know too much about where it's at or any of that sort of general normal stuff you think about when you're thinking about physics. Yeah, that's better. Might be too tall now, or even too wide. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to fiddle with this. See if I can sculpt it better. Because it doesn't need to be that big from an internal structure sort of fashion. So you got the path variance there. You then like, okay, you're gonna sort of give a little kick to generate a view of space-time with just a little bit of matter in, which could be the size of a star, but you know, it's still just a little bit of matter. It's not time to sleep yet, me. And you can, with just that sort of, you know, slight perturbation, there we go, sort of view, you can come up with all sorts of very accurate stuff. You just have to know how to expand the, you know, your space-time metrics and all that sort of jazz. Your Riemann, you know, curvatures and things. There we go. I have something popping out of my face. Not sure what happened there. So I'm going to finish talking about this at the end of the episode. Cows, by the way. I've been breeding cows. And so you can sort of do all this cool stuff, and it doesn't require full general relativity other than the mathematics of expanding, you know, your curved space-time sort of stuff. And so you don't even necessarily need all of that to be, you know, all that stuff, sort of stuff can be true without full Einstein general relativity, which is kind of wacky. This is stuff I've actually done some research on years and years ago. As I said, I've been a little foggy brain. I probably should have tried to track down where happened to the mushroom here. It's missing. It's stuck. It's a flying mushroom. Same with that one. Yeah, there's lots of weird mushrooms over here. Hence the nether portal. Let's go exploring a little bit. Sword out. Action away. Oh, we got one card. Well, we got Van's base all the same. And I'm guessing Peter's? Maybe Gepwin's? I'm going to go march the whole way. Up and away! So you can get a lot of information about space-time. That is, as I said, very accurate and tells you full descriptions, gives you energy relations, which is not usually workable. Oh, yeah, we're at the mystery village that was attacked the one time, and other guys had footage of it. Let's go move on to the next stop at the railway. And it does kind of beg the question of, if you can pull all this craziness off, am I going this way? No, it's coming from that way. If you can pull all this stuff while only having this being a variance from flat space-time, is there maybe some formulation of general relativity that is basically you have a flat space-time just in general as a sort of a fundamental aspect of the universe, and then everything you do on top of that is a giant nether portal. I mean, someone going off that way now. Is sort of something extra, something special. And so this, if this is true at all, this sort of bends our understanding of cosmology in all sorts of ways, and this is a pretty sweet thing. I hope I'm not ruining things. I forget if this is Gepwin's or Peter's place here. This might be Gepwin's. I'll try not to spoil too much here. Coffee. And so I'm not saying this is actually 100% true or anything like that, but it does sort of beg some questions that if the general relativity we know and love is, you know, sort of a 99.99999% accurate description, but is it telling us the whole truth? Ho-ho! In physics, things rarely tell you the whole truth. Just FYI. But usually comes down to, is it because your measurement doesn't know how to measure things properly, or is it because you are missing some fundamental idea in this whole scheme and setup? I'm not going to say one way or the other on this particular front, but it is something I think about a little too much. But if space-time has a fundamental flatness to it that perhaps independent of any sort of matter being existing in it, then you can have a situation where wormholes are just not possible at all because it requires such a bending of that background space-time that it would, just absurdly reject, and so you'd be unable to pull it out at all. You would try to break the universe, and the universe is like, nope, we're gonna make your life so painful. You're gonna waste so much energy, it's just not gonna work. Then, yeah, that's way too big. And then from there, where am I going with this? And so, wormholes become impossible in that sort of, setup there. Let's go and start planning for the bridge at least. Can start block my way over. Aha. Just to see where we are as far as general alignment goes. So this is right in the middle. So I have my sincere doubts about wormholes being plausible to be a thing at all. If they do exist, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. It'll be sort of one of those things, it's N or NP, the case in the universe. And like, well, I'm going to bet against the one that makes it, calculations easy to do and possible. This is a perfectly level thing. I didn't even plan that. It's a little off center, but we can work with that. We can have a bridge that even like wobbles maybe a little bit to the side of the side. It just happens to be hitting the right slide over. So like, yep. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Okay, so you bet against the N equals NP sort of situation there. Because if N equals NP, then you can solve any problems ever that may exist in quotes, geometric time, which basically means we can do anything. All problems become possible to solve within the, existence of the universe here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That'll be perfect. So I'll just use this as a template. I'll build it out one either direction, but yeah, this is a good start for our bridge planning here. I'm probably going to stop here pretty soon here, but final thought is, I'll bet against wormholes existing, but if someone can make them exist, I'm all for it. What more? There is some fundamental questions I have about the universe I think about sometimes too often. It's going to be a weird view. Anyway, by the way, I got myself some bamboo. It's growing up big and strong. My bamboo buddies. Let's go say hello. Hello, bamboo buddies. What's going on? What? I don't suspect I'll need too much of this overall, so that's why I haven't done a full farm. Speaking of farms, I've been doing a little bit of farming. Down here! Trees! Wheat! A lot of wheat, actually. That's how I've been feeding the cows. Don't know yet. I might not make this farm. I'm super tempted to build an underground empire situation down here where there's like a bunch of caverns and castles and things like that. They're all buried underground and things like that. But I don't know yet. So I need to think about what I'm going to do for the style of the various buildings here. And so maybe next time, once I put a roof on that thing over there, I'll go ahead and start doing some designs, mock-ups, things like that. And maybe I'll have some basic stuff here. But I need to get a bunch more wood because, you know, I got plenty of the darker stuff here. I need lighter stuff as well. And now that the bone build is almost done, I'm going to go and use up the rest of my logs for that. And then cut down some more trees, go farming, you know, usual. Is there anything else I want to talk about the cosmos? Well, yeah, one sort of weird after effect, a fundamental flatness the cosmos would result in, is that how folks think about the Big Bang, you know, the inflation period, all that sort of stuff would need to be fundamentally changed in various ways. And that can be all sorts of fun. And I'd love to get into the math of that sometime, but I need journal access to access the most recent up-to-date stuff. So it actually makes sense. I've been out of the cosmology game for over 10 years, so, you know. Anyway, I'm going to call this here. This has been DrIzixs building a little bit of stuff and planning and showing off stuff and talking about wormholes and how I don't think they're a thing. Anyway, until next, everybody, toodles. Woohoo!